Today we're going to talk a little bit about the argument from morality. As you might know, if you watch my channel, I've argued a lot there's no such thing as objective morality, which is a concept that I think kind of needs to exist if you're going to use it as evidence that God exists. This is why I believe the argument from morality is extremely weak, because there isn't really such a thing as moral law, which makes it hard to use that as evidence for a moral law giver, as William Lane Craig calls God. If I were to explain every single reason why I don't believe in objective morality, it would be a 2-hour, 3-hour long video. So let's talk about one good reason why people are moral and that it has nothing to do with a moral law giver. I figure I could talk pretty succinctly for a short period of time about a theory of mind. This is a psychology concept that basically means that a fully functioning, normal human being not only has a concept of self, but has a concept that other people are selves, that other people have minds. There's been studies done recently that show that that's something that you are not born with, that it's something you develop as your brain develops, because they say that, in that study, they said that children under the age of about 4 or 5 didn't really seem to possess a theory of mind. And the reason why having a theory of mind, having a theory of, knowing that you are a person and that you have feelings and preferences and beliefs and what's the word I'm looking for, how much you care about yourself, your physical well-being and your societal well-being, your emotional and social and so forth well-being, is because you are a self and you think about yourself. You think, therefore you are. So that's, I think a Cartesian thing, which some people disagree about here and there, but I'm not a professional philosopher. My apologies to William Lane Craig. But this is kind of part of where empathy comes from. Because I know myself, I as a human being, and this is something that's fairly unique to human beings and possibly a few other species, is that I can consider other people as being like me and having a self like me and having concerns about their well-being like I have concerns about myself. Now, that's part of also the reason why we are a successful social species, is because we have developed this. And what is moral behavior really boils down to doing for others as you would have done unto yourself. The golden rule, I believe Jesus might have even said something like that. Unfortunately, he didn't invent it. It is something that is instinctual. And instincts are really what drive all human behavior. This is a fundamental part of the rejection of the idea that there's even such a thing as free will, which throws a whole nother bunch of monkey wrenches into other beliefs in the existence of God and God's morality. We're trying to stay on subject. So, I may not have a societal relation to, say, this random stranger. I am not monetarily, emotionally, familially, or really have any relation to, say, this little old lady who's crossing the street. So, for better purposes, that is a baby. And the baby is walking across the street. Now, without really being conscious of it, my brain is thinking about that baby as not only another human being, but as another self. And where I might care about my family, and if that was my little brother or little sister, I would care. If that baby was me, I would care. And because maybe I don't want to see that baby get hit by a car, because we have instinctual responses to violence as well in functional human beings. I might run out and go grab that baby. And a Christian might be asking me, well, as an atheist, why are you not going to just go, rape that baby in the middle of the street? Because that's what atheists do. They rape and or eat babies. I have an instinctual response. Because if that baby gets hit by a car, it's not my car, it's not my baby, the baby's not me. But I have an instinct and also an intellectual concept that is almost completely innate to non-sociopathic and psychopathic people to care about that baby as if that baby was me. And just in passing, I won't go too far into this, but it is interesting. There's a lot of theories gone around, and Dark Matter 2525 has a great video on this that I'm going to link in the description. But another part of the reason why people might get offended about attacks on God and the character of God is because God is a form of a person's ego, and that if you were to threaten somebody's beliefs, you're not threatening their beliefs, you're threatening them. You're threatening their livelihood and their well-being. And it's all a similar response, because the other thing in passing is your instincts drive you. A lot of people might say, if they're really honest, that they would have feelings about this child about to get run over. And what are your feelings? They're endorphin responses in your brain. There's stress endorphins, fear endorphins, happiness endorphins, pleasure endorphins, anger endorphins. And those trigger responses in your brain, and those dictate what you might do and what you'll likely do, because it's instinctual. And a biologist, a neurologist, a psychologist would probably be able to explain this to you in more concrete terms that are more believable, but it doesn't. But because I may not be that qualified doesn't make it not so. This is where morality comes from. And that is why different societies will have different moralities, because there is a nature versus nurture aspect and so forth. But this is how this works. And so I thought that'd be a decent video that I wouldn't go on for about 15 minutes about. So comment, let me know what you think about that, especially if you believe that you would have raped a baby in the street if you were not a Christian, and we can talk about that. Anyway, thanks for watching.